Hello, my friends. This video is going to be a little different. I'm not going to be talking about Amberlynn specifically, but Gorlworld in general, and why we keep coming back. I'm sure that if you have been in Gorlworld for very long, at some point you have either asked yourself or seen a comment that said, why do you care so much? Why do you keep watching this? And that's a legitimate question, because Amberlynn is frustrating and annoying, and with all the revelations that Beck is bringing forth and the allegations that Amberlynn is piling up, it can get pretty heavy and dark. But for some reason, we just keep coming back. So today I'm going to talk about why that is, but also, is it okay? Is it okay for us to just be watching on the sidelines? Because sometimes it can feel a little icky watching as terrible things are happening to other people, just knowing that there's really nothing we can do about it, you know? We're just spectators. But let's just keep in mind that this is nothing new. Being interested in drama and wanting to see a train wreck happen is nothing new. If you're not familiar with a show called American Chopper, it was an American reality TV show that aired during the big boom of reality TV back in the early 2000s. And the premise originally was supposed to be a father and son who build motorcycles. And that sort of became what it was, but the focus really became something else. So stick with me. This is going to come back to Gorlworld, but just follow me down this rabbit hole for just a minute. These guys were very good at what they did. They could build some really cool, interesting motorcycles, or choppers, and they could theme them around like Spider-Man and all kinds of really crazy ideas. And that was gonna be the premise of the show, was a father and son duo building motorcycles. The first episode or two was just that. They just focused on the building of the motorcycles, and nobody really cared. It was a very small niche audience that showed up to watch that. But in one of the episodes, Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. got in an argument, and the producers decided to film it. Decided to film their fight, and the ratings started going through the roof. And so the show became all about them fighting.
Wait a minute, so we're trying.
Every time I come out here, Vinny's doing a job and you're holding his hand. What did you do to the exhaust?
Vin, did we equally work on this bike?
Yeah, listen.
Wait a minute, did we equally work on this bike?
Why do you gotta get me?
I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, why do you gotta
Because if it was up to him, you'd side with him. I'm asking you a question.
you did.
What'd you do?
Okay.
What did you do?
Me and him split everything. We started yesterday.
Listen, I've been watching this build over here. He does all the bending. He does.
So this kind of thing became the show, just them yelling at each other. And it got to the point where it would get out of hand.
This place would go to shit. It would burn to the ground. That's bullshit. You know what? Get the fuck out of here. Fuck.
Because they knew this is where the money was. They were making so much money at this point, and they were miserable. And it was tearing their family apart. And you'll notice the camera guy just sort of chilling, making sure he gets the shot. That's all that mattered to them. They kept having such huge fights that father fired son. And Paul Jr. went and started his own company.
I've decided to open up my own shop.
They could never in a million years build a bike like we can.
Right here it's playing 3 Days Grace, I Hate Everything About You. So, does anything strike you as strange about any of this? We've got father and son fighting each other, and we've got TLC playing a song that says, I hate everything about you. And then it goes on to say, why do I love you? But the message is clear. The producers of this show realized that the money was in the drama. The producers would put them in situations where they knew that they would be volatile. They knew they would get in a fight. They would give alcohol to the father, even though that was something he struggled with. They would tell the son, hey, your dad said this thing, man. I didn't know if you knew that, but anyway, bye. And that would make the son mad, and then they would go at it and they would film it. So when their family falls apart, they make it a show of father versus son, and they play a song that says, I hate everything about you. So my point in all this is to say, the only reason this became popular is because people liked it. People watched it. The producers would not have pushed so hard to make sure that they fought at every possible opportunity if people didn't enjoy it. We just sat back in our chairs with our popcorn and just laughed. And we'd talk about it the next day. Can you believe they got in such a big fight? So while it is the producers that caused the chaos, it was the audience that made it lucrative. What does that have to do with Gorlworld? There's a big difference between what was happening then when we were watching this kind of stuff and drama on TV, and now where we're in the age of social media, where people are posting their own reality shows on the internet. During this time, when American Chopper and Teen Mom and 16 and Pregnant and just, there were so many reality TV shows. When they signed up for these shows, they had no idea that the producers were going to exploit them so much. We, as an audience, all we could do was just sit back and watch and laugh. And part of it was because we knew they were getting paid for it. So it was like, we didn't feel too bad. But then looking back, knowing what we know now, it's pretty gross that we just sort of watched and laughed and enjoyed families being ripped apart. And they may not have if it weren't for the producers. Amberlynn Reid, on the other hand, is a little different. There are no producers. There's nobody exploiting her. She has just decided to upload her life on the internet. And there's one other big difference between the period of time when we were watching reality shows and now, and that is we can talk directly to the stars of this reality show, of Gorlworld, of the internet. When American Chopper or Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant was on, you could comment about it, you could talk to your friends about it, and there were forums and things like that, but you never really were able to talk to the stars unless you had some connection or had, got lucky and won some sort of giveaway where you could go meet the stars or something like that. But the general public were disconnected from the stars of the reality shows. But that's not the case anymore. We can actually talk to Amberlynn Reid and she can see what we say. Now, she claims she doesn't read comments, but we know she does. And I'm not recommending that you go harass her or bombard her with comments or anything like that. But it has been a way for her to be held accountable to at least a small degree, where people can call out her bad behavior, and at some point, she will at least mention it. So far, there's already one big difference between just sitting back with our popcorn and watching a train wreck of a life and enjoying it and then just moving on. Because the reality show stars of yesteryear, the producers gobbled them up, spit them out, and moved on to the next person. And left a trail of broken families and broken people in their wake. There's no one to blame for what Amberlynn does, besides Amberlynn. So we can watch and we can comment and we can actually get her to see what she's doing wrong. Will she ever change? No, probably not. So we are not really making a difference on this front, but we have made a difference somewhere else. Beck has shown incredible courage, standing up and speaking out about the way Amberlynn treated them. And I think a big part of why it was such a big story just in general is because there were so many eyes on amberlynn, and there were enough people to notice things and to say things and to start bringing up the comments and just bring it out in the open. And I think there was a lot of encouragement to Beck, a lot of positive comments, and a lot of people who made it clear that Gorlworld was here to support them, so that when they were ready to say something, we would be here. And I think that helped Beck step forward and really let us know what amberlynn really is all about. I think they would have been another story of somebody being chewed up and spit out, but it's not some evil TV producer, it's amberlynn reid doing her own reality show where she's the one exploiting. She's the one realizing that the drama is where the money is. So in the grand scheme of things, amberlynn is really no different than those producers on the reality TV shows that saw dollar signs when they saw families being torn apart, saw dollar signs in the drama. amberlynn exploits people for money. She exploits drama. She creates drama. And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's probably not. But it doesn't really matter, because she has been told time and time again how to fix and change her behavior, and she refuses. So I'm not saying that the reaction channels are out here doing some sort of service to the world or anything. But what I am saying is that it's okay to watch Gorlworld. It's okay to pay attention to what's going on in the Amberverse. Personally, before I ever even created a channel, I watched reaction channels because I want to be a part of a community that holds people like this accountable. And I know it feels like we don't ever get anywhere because she never changes, but things do change. Things can change for the right people. And I have said from the very first video, the first couple comments that I got, it was clear to me that the Gorlworld community is a good one. It's full of good people. Now, there are, in any community, there's going to be people that don't understand boundaries and don't understand etiquette. But overall, Gorlworld is a pretty good and kind community, because our goal in bringing attention and giving attention to the Amberverse and to Foodie Beauty and to Glitter and Lasers and everybody else in Gorlworld is not to enjoy it, it's to call it out. Now, there's always going to be a part of us that just enjoys watching drama. And for whatever reason, we have a morbid curiosity when somebody is acting a fool or acting like a narcissist. We just want to see that. If you're anything like me, my real enjoyment comes from hearing the reaction channels call out the bad behavior. Because it's like we are the town that's gathering our torches and pitchforks, going after the monster. Now, will we ever take the monster down? Probably not. But what we can do is be here when the people that she leaves in her wake need some support and need some encouragement. So, is it okay to watch amberlynn reid? Obviously, I mean, you can watch whatever you want. If you ever get to a point where you think, why am I doing this? Why am I watching this? Why do I keep coming back to watch this person? Just kind of remember, you're not really watching her. You're not enjoying her. We're in this together. We're watching because think about if there were no reaction channels. Think about if amberlynn reid went unchecked on the internet. If she never got any comments about any of her bad behavior, if she never got any pushback on all the ways that she treats people horribly, imagine where she would be now. Imagine how many more people would be hurt. Now, granted, I don't think she would be nearly as successful as she is now without reaction channels, but there are clearly Amberlynn fans out there. For whatever reason, there are people out there that just like her and want to watch her. So she would not go away if reaction channels disappeared. I really truly think that because reaction channels exist and because the community is here to comment and to hold Amberlynn accountable, I think there are a lot of people who might have otherwise started a relationship with Amberlynn Reid and thought better of it. I think there might be a lot of people who might have tried to be friends with Amberlynn until they saw all the hate, until they saw what people comment and how many people are out there holding her accountable. And I think then they changed their mind. They decided it's not worth it. So that's one less person who might be left in Amberlynn's wake. So we're not doing any kind of amazing charity work out here doing reactions or anything like that. We're mostly just having fun, holding a monster accountable. But if you ever get to the point where you feel like it's just not getting anywhere, we're not making any progress, I beg to differ. I think the next step is to figure out how we're going to get Beck's money back from Amberlynn. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.